Hello, everyone, and greetings from Munich, Germany. This is where I'm currently at. Here it's getting darker, so bear with the lower light of my video. So yeah, today I will be presenting our real-life experience with running Apple search ads at scale. But first, a little bit about myself. I'm Dimitris, and I'm the team lead for the user acquisition team here at Freeletics. So for those of you who don't know, Freeletics is the leading provider for AI-based fitness and lifestyle coaching. And we have over 54 million registered users and over 120 employees. So I have been working with Freeletics for the past 4 years now, where I'm leading the team for user acquisition. And in general, I've been specializing in digital marketing for the last 9+ years, and specifically on paid social and paid search. But now let's talk about running Apple search ads at scale. I will touch on a very good example from our side, and that is January. As you might know, for the fitness industry, January is the most important month of the year. So New Year's resolutions drive demand at record levels, resulting in need for high scale, but also high competition in the market. At Freeletics, we are present globally in over 60 countries with Apple search ads. That means that we need to be agile with our optimization at high scale and with maintaining a stable ROAS level. We have targets to meet, but at the same time, we have scale. The need for resources at the same time, as you can imagine, more than doubles during January, during this whole exciting time. So how did we tackle this, right? What are the do's and don'ts of running Apple search ads at scale? First of all, tiering up countries and assigning different ROAS targets for every country tier. For example, you may want to tier up your best performing countries together, and that allows you to scale faster whenever you see the opportunity. Another one is optimize opportunistically. What does that mean? It means try and push where you see good performance and try to pull back where you don't. There is a limited amount of budget available, so try to make the best out of it. If you're running any brand campaigns, for example, TV commercials or anything like that, or any specific branding activities on other platforms, make sure that you are present at those markets when you run those campaigns. For example, for us, back in January, we ran a very big campaign in the UK on TV, so we needed to be present at that specific moment. We had increased search volume because of that, and being there at the top of the list, not losing any of the auctions, was very, very important. So on the other side, right, what are the don'ts? What should we not do? So first of all, don't expect to win everywhere. That's a big learning that we had, and that is something that we all need to think before going into all these big markets. Not all countries are going to reach the ROAS goals, and that is fine. As long as the overall ROAS is met, you can afford to spend in lower performing markets and not miss out on the additional opportunity that January offers. For example, if your big countries have a ROAS that is 10 percentage points above the goal that you have, you can afford to spend those 10 percentage points in, let's say, developing markets to get more reach, to get more customers for your brand, and then try and capitalize after January for that. The scale is there, capitalize it, and then use it afterwards. What we saw also that doesn't really work in the past is expanding our keyword sets. What we did a few times was that during January, we just went in with all new keywords, like 30% on top of the normal volume that we had. What we did this January, and it worked really better, is we went with our best performing keywords. We got more traffic, And the keywords already had the learnings, and we were already present at the top of the list. So another learning from these and past Januaries was also not to over-optimize. What I mean by that, especially at the beginning of the month, when we see the scale going significantly up with everybody searching for fitness and trying to improve their body and their health. At the beginning of the month, you might see lower performance, but this is when you need to be a bit careful not to over-optimize. That's where the scale is there, and then that's when we need to capitalize, and then afterwards you can go in and optimize on that traffic later. You might end up losing the traffic, and that is not a good thing. So in general, focusing on every small detail when scaling globally might hinder you from reaching new levels of performance. And yeah, finally, what did we achieve with our efforts, right? You can see there on the graph our amount spent and the amount of installs. So we had 2.8 more times increase in amount spent, 2 times more installs, a bit more expensive than usual, but at the same time, 2.4 times increase in purchases with a stable ROAS. So, of course, this is not the go-to or let's say the Bible for running Apple search ads at scale, but this is my humble contribution to it. I want to thank you very much for your attention. And I hope you enjoyed this small insight from my side. And I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions now.
Dimitris, thank you very, very much. You had a lot of questions in the chat there, so maybe I can go through 3 questions here, or maybe 2 if we have enough time. So, first question, you mentioned the hottest month, and what's the lowest one, in your opinion?
It depends on which markets you're present. So for us globally, our lowest month, I would have to say, is December. So we don't do any e-commerce, right? We don't have that much physical products. Of course, we have our clothing line, but we don't push as much in December, knowing, of course, that we have a lot of competition that we need to overcome.
Of course. Makes sense. Next question, Dimitris. Do you run seasonal Apple search ads campaigns during holidays or some events?
Yes, we definitely do. And we are preparing one right now, which is for Black Friday. This is a seasonal event, and usually we go strong during the Black Friday promotion, both on Apple search ads and on other channels, of course.
Yeah, makes sense. Last question. If you were to start from scratch, what would be your tactics?
Oh, that's a very good question. First of all, make sure you're present with your brand, right? This is very important, especially at the beginning. And on top of that, do proper keyword research and make a proper research on what are the most important keywords for you. Try and build slow. Don't go too broad at the beginning, because the learnings are going to be hard. Start with a small amount of keywords that you know are very important for your brand, and then start and expand based on that, based on the results of it.
Okay. We have time for one more question, Dimitris, if you don't mind. What was the percentage of spend broken down by brand, generic and comp?
Yeah, I would need to follow up on that. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but if I remember correctly, brands during that time was not that big, especially, I mean, not in the UK where we had the TV commercial, but if I remember correctly, it was around 20 to 30% brand, and the rest was non-brand.
Okay. One more, Dimitris. This is an interesting one. Have you tried new ad placements?
We haven't tried yet, but we have it in the pipeline for this January. What we want to test for sure is the in-app events. We are currently testing with SplitMetrics help, of course, a few different placements. But in general, because we go for performance, the new placements that Apple released are not very much for us, at least now that we're not doing any branding, for example, going for the Today tab.
Okay, excellent. Dimitris, I just want to say a big thank you. Thank you very much for the insights and the information. You know, where can people find you if you want to follow up with more questions, Dimitris?
You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me there. And of course, you can always reach out to my email, which is there in the presentation, Dimitrios@freeletics.com. So yes, please reach out, and I'm more than happy to follow up.
I'm sure you're going to get lots of questions and lots of messages, because it's very grateful you came here. Thank you very much. Super insightful indeed. Thank you, Dimitris.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.